All right, so now our countertop is secured. Next, we're just going to put on our end piece. Now, in this instance, this is the only outward facing edge, so I only need to do this side. I'm not going to worry about this side because, of course, there's going to be an oven that goes there, so I'm not worried about that. I'm not going to actually do anything. I'm just going to do this. So what I want to do here first, though, is I want to cut this off, and I got to put a scab a piece in back here so that I have a straight edge to go against. Now I'm going to cut this at an angle so that so that I make sure it's not going to be in the way when I put the end cap on. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just take a piece of 1/2 inch, take a pencil, and I'll cut this so that it fits that. All right, so the next thing we want to install is our end cap. Now, I like to just kind of put it up there, right there, and just make sure you got plenty of room on all edges, going over a little bit on the top here, a little extra on the up here as well. And make sure you're all the way down to the bottom so that there's no part of this showing. You just want to make sure it's all there. And then what we're going to do, so let's get our iron here. Now what we're going to do is start heating up our iron here. This glue on the back side of this, and it will become tacky basically and stick at 200 degrees. Now, if you get a heat gun or something else, that'll work too. You may not know when 200 degrees is. Whatever you do, don't just set this face down, because it will burn the laminate. So we're going to get this hot. Let's get our end cap up here, covering everything, making sure it's good there. And again, I like to have a little bit extra everywhere. Don't worry so much about the bottom. Then just start in the middle and you don't have to leave it on there for long. Slowly go back and forth until that glue heats up. And at some point it's going to start sticking and it'll stay where you got it. Again, keep moving it. Again, you don't want to let it sit too long because it will burn the laminate. So just be aware of that. So keep moving it. Let all that glue get nice and melted so that it sticks. So when you look here, you should see no gaps. If you do, you need to work a little bit more. And it should not move. So it's still hot. We'll just take a wet rag, we'll cool it, wipe it down. Now, it doesn't take long to cool down. Just make sure you're solid. It's not going to come off on you. There's no bubbles, anything like that. And I'm going to take, with this ledge still there, and that's the other reason I like to have that ledge there. I'm going to take some tape, and I'm going to put it up against that ledge, just like that. Go all the way down here. Now, the reason I do this is so that I don't cut this laminate countertop with my bit. And I'm going to show you the router here in a second. So now what we're going to use is a flush trim bit. I've got several of these, size isn't a big deal. But the idea is that we're going to put this on there and it's going to cut all this off. We want to make sure that when we put this in, it's catching the edge here and we put this flat up against it. So We've just got a router here. We want to get this all the way up against the edge there so that we're straight, and so when you run this, make sure you're pushed all the way up against the edge. Now, this unfortunately is as close as I can get with my router bit. So I'm just going to do this with a sander. And you can see just sanding that cleaned up any spots in there that might be an issue. So just sanding that took that down like that. So you can use a sander, just be careful when you do it. A hand sander will work. Just make sure you're using, 220 or 400 grit sandpaper. Then you want to take a file and just round off your edge. You can either do that with a file or you can do it with a 220 sanding block. Both of them will work. So this is the reason I like to have the tape, because as you see there, I cut a little bit into the tape, but it didn't damage the laminate. So I'm going to take my file, just file this down, file that edge down. And again, I still have the tape on there because I don't want to damage the laminate. And take off any spots that you could snag on, anything like that. We're gonna make sure that's flush across. You could use a sanding block, which will work, or you could use a hand sander like this. Just make sure you have 220 or maybe even 400 grit sandpaper, and that'll just kind of smooth anything extra out. Like I said, that won't damage the laminate, but it will make sure you got a smooth edge here, so that won't hurt it. So, but that's pretty much all there is. Just take that sander, take your file, and just smooth it down. Make sure you have no lips here. So there's a tiny lip right there, which I will cut off. That way people don't snag on it, because you don't want people snagging on anything because it'll pull it off. So make sure you don't have any lips, anything like that. Make sure everything's smooth. And that's really all there is to it. All right, guys, as always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.